it's Melissa
and Stephanie,
and today it is finally Q&A Tuesday. We went to Twitter and asked you guys to send your questions, and we got a pretty good amount of questions, but we also got a lot of repeat questions. So I think we have enough Q&A Tuesdays now to make a complete playlist. So if you're new to this channel or if you missed a previous Q&A Tuesday, we're gonna have them all in one place for you guys now, one playlist where you guys can find them. So let's just get right into the questions.
So our first question is, what's your favorite song artist right now?
My favorite song right now, and I just came across this song on a Spotify playlist, which I never listened to them, but the playlist is first called Everything Chill, and it's actually a really good playlist, and the song is You're the Best by a group called Wet, but my favorite artist still currently has been for a while Tame Impala.
I would probably say that right now I'm really into like Justin Bieber. He did just drop his new album. All of his songs are pretty bomb, I'm not gonna lie. But I've also been listening to 4 by One Direction on repeat. I haven't even listened to their new album yet. Forgive me, but you know, I love me some Zayn, so I've just been listening to that and Justin Bieber. Also, Selena Gomez came out with a new album, and I've been listening to a few of those songs, so kind of like into that pop style right now. I'm not really sure.
So the next question is, what's some advice you have for people wanting to embrace their style but are facing judgment from others?
That's a good question. I will say that first of all, if people are judging you based on your style and they're like your friends, you probably shouldn't be friends with them, because if they're your friends, they wouldn't be judging you. If it's like your family member, people that you can't really get rid of, I can understand that as well. For a while, I felt like I dressed to please other people so that people wouldn't judge me. But I think it comes with age and with maturity. You gain more confidence in what you're wearing, and you're like, hey, I rock this. I look cool. So I always like to tell myself how great I am, and I know that seems kind of conceited, but I'm like, I'm a good person, this is cool, I'm proud of myself for like kind of stepping out of my comfort zone at times or wearing what I want to wear. So ultimately I think it comes back with just like your self-confidence and being confident enough to just wear whatever you want.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Our next question is, how do you balance work with YouTube, and do you have plans of doing YouTube full-time? Love you guys, XO.
So I think for the past few months is really when we've committed ourselves and we've been doing YouTube pretty much full time. I mean, we're trying to put out 3 videos a week. That's a lot of work. The biggest part is scheduling. Like, we're really big into scheduling now, and we used to not be like that. We write everything down on the calendar. We plan things in advance. I mean, really, that's how we're able to do everything that we do.
Yeah, for sure. I think with work, we basically have a set schedule, so we like to schedule the YouTube part of our lives around that. We come up with video concepts early on in the month, and don't get us wrong, sometimes things do change, and we're like, whoa, and we have to rework our schedule, but ultimately, it's just having that you know what you need to get done in advance, so that last minute you're not trying to scramble to like get things done or to work. But also I like to just have like some time for myself. Every day I get a cup of coffee or a nice coffee from Starbucks, and like that's just like a little bit of time for myself that I'm like, okay, now I can face the day. I know I have a lot on my plate, but just like that little time for myself in the morning, I think it makes a big difference.
So the next question is, if you could go shopping with one fashion icon, who would it be? I have to just say, because she's my fashion icon, and I would just love to see what Leandra Medine would pick out if she went shopping. I also tend to like her style and a lot of the designers that she likes too, so I think she could open my eyes to a bunch of new designers, so definitely Leandra Medine.
So for me, I really don't have a fashion icon or people like that I admire their style like a lot. Like you have Leandra Medine, like she's your ride or die. For me, it's never been that way for anybody really, but I would say that I love the Olsen twins. I'm more of a Mary-Kate fan myself, so I would love to go shopping with her. I'd also just love to go shopping with somebody that has like endless amounts of money, just to see what their thought process is. If they just go in and are like, I want this, this, and this, or for me, I'm like, what can I afford today? I want to make sure I can eat. So I just think that would be kind of a cool experience too. So we received a few Vlogmas related questions, and we touched on this in the last Q&A.
Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to do it, but now we for sure know that we are not going to do it. You guys said in the comments too, hey, this works well for you guys. This is what you guys can do. You know you're not going to be able to have enough content to put out really good, hearty vlogs for every day. Then let's just keep it how it is. Also, a lot of you guys tweet us on Sundays and say, like, this is part of my routine. This is something that I do on Sundays. So I also don't want to throw off your guys' routine. So
we're definitely just going to keep it to one vlog a week on Sundays. Hopefully that works with you guys.
So the next question is, what is your opinion of giving a gift bought at a thrift store? Have you ever done it? I actually have gifted something from the thrift store to Punk, and it was her Casio watch and a denim jacket, which I distressed for her.
Which both of them, like, I love
them. So I feel like it has to be the right person. If somebody gifted something to me from the thrift store, I would totally be down, 100% appreciate it. And I think sometimes things that you find that have meaning, or you took a lot of time, or you found like the perfect thing at the thrift store, can mean more than spending a lot of money on something that somebody's never going to use.
Yeah. For sure. I like see things at the thrift store and I'm like, oh my gosh, my friends would love this, Thalia would wear this, and sometimes I think like, oh, but that's kind of weird because they're not such huge thrifters like we are. Some of our friends are really into it and they're like, yeah, if you find something at the thrift store, I'll take it, and that's cool, which I'm like down for. But then there's some of my other friends that I'm just like, that's probably not the best gift to give them just because they're not really into thrift stores.
But definitely
But yeah, I still think it could be
thrift,
cool. Yeah, for sure, thrift. So this leads us to our next question, high-end or thrift?
I would have to definitely say thrift.
Thrift for sure.
So this next question is pretty deep, but you guys know we like to have a good mix here on Q&A Tuesday, and the question is, I know how it is to lose a parent, but can't figure out how to cope well. How do you two do it? Honestly, it's really hard when you lose anybody that's really close to you. Everybody copes differently.
Everybody grieves differently.
Yeah, everybody grieves differently. There's not a right way and there's not a wrong way. I think my biggest piece of advice, and this is something that I didn't do when we lost our mom, was I really didn't talk about how I felt with anybody. Yeah. Like I felt like a completely different person, but I didn't know how to feel, or how to say like, hey, I feel different. I don't feel the same. So my biggest advice would be to reach out to other people, just talk with people, because I remember the first time I actually talked to somebody that was like outside of my family about my mom's passing, it helped me so much. And I felt weird too because I thought like, oh my gosh, this person, is my really good friend, but I feel like I might be judged, or I just feel like this is going to be really awkward, but it helped me, and I felt like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders.
Yeah, I think that's definitely just talking about it. For me, when I lost my mom, I really closed myself off from like everybody and my surroundings, and it's difficult, it really is, but like we said, everybody grieves differently. I have gone through counseling, I've done group therapy, I've done so much, and just like you said, you're never going to be the same person that you were before. You can either let that define you, just like if you're put in any situation and just sulk, like for a while, you guys know I wasn't the happiest, or you can learn from it and grow from it and become the person that you want to be, which ultimately I was like, you know what, I don't want to be just this bitter, angry, upset person for the rest of my life. And it was just something in here that had to click, and I had to realize it. So it is hard. Yeah. Take as much time as you need. Even like to this day, I still think of my mom every day. Sometimes I get upset. Sometimes, I'm like, life isn't fair, which it's not. But ultimately, you're always going to have those memories with that said person, even if it's not your parent. And it's difficult. It really is. Answering this question is definitely difficult. So we also received a few Thanksgiving questions, how we're going to celebrate it.
So Thanksgiving is really the holiday for me that starts the holiday season, but I know in our household it was really a big holiday, just mostly because of the food. Yes. So for me, it's like a very big traditional thing. Even though there's only 2 of us now, we will still make a Thanksgiving dinner. We've learned how to scale it, and it's funny because out of all of the things that I didn't learn how to cook from my mom or my dad, like a Thanksgiving dinner is the like one thing that I can for sure do.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're also going to do Friendsgiving with our friends. A group of us are getting together on the Sunday before, so that should be really nice too.
Should be interesting. We're like a dysfunctional family,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for that.
So our last question is, y'all seem so positive. How often do you have down days, and what do you do to get over any obstacles? So let's end it on a positive note.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So through, counseling, group therapy, things like that, I've learned that for a long time I was very, what's the word? I wasn't positive, I wasn't optimistic, I wasn't hopeful. I was basically a Debbie Downer, and I didn't notice that, I didn't see it, but other people around me did, and I was just like, one day it clicked, and I'm like, I can't be like that. So I always try to go into every situation on a positive note. I always like to see the good in things, and I always like to start my day off on a positive note. Like I leave everything that happened the day before behind and just start off when I wake up. I'm like, this is a new day. I have things I need to do. I can create awesome memories today. Even just like those little things. Don't get me wrong, some days I do have my off days. Some days I'm not the happiest, and I'm sure sometimes you guys see that through the vlogs or on the vlogs. Sometimes we get into arguments and I'm just like pissed off, but for the most part, I try to radiate positivity because I don't like spreading negativity. I don't ever want to be a Debbie Downer. If anything, I want to make you laugh by pulling a fat face or, doing something stupid like that, calling myself a troll. Like, I just like to make people ultimately happy. Like, that's kind of like one of my goals, is just to make somebody smile for the day. I don't know if that's just me. It sounds really cheesy now that I say it. I'm pissed now.
I know the one thing that we always say is negativity breeds negativity. So if you come into a situation and you have a negative attitude, not only are you going to get even more frustrated, but everybody around you is going to be frustrated as well. So I don't try to breed negativity, and I don't let other people that are breeding negativity get me down, because it's just not worth it. I remember Greg used to have a saying, and it was something that he said all the time when our mom was, on the last few months of her life, and he would always say, every day has to be a good day. And I wake up thinking that, because really, you have to make every day good. You don't even know how many days you have on this earth. Why spend it being negative? We do have down days.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, not every day is the greatest, but I always try to think of like, hey, I try to look at the positivity or like the one good thing in every situation, because ultimately that's what gets me through the really bad days. So that wraps up another Q&A Tuesday. Thank you guys for sending us your questions.
Q&A Tuesday will resume the second Tuesday of every month next month, even though our upload schedule has changed.
Yeah, and also we haven't said this in a, main channel video, because our vlogs are pretty much main channel videos too, but thank you guys all for 300,000 subscribers. That's huge for us. I think when we started this, we never thought we would have 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, ever.
That's so strange to say.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for that. We love each and every one of you.
Hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye!